Hey everyone, welcome back. Okay, today cannabis stocks are just going nutty. And there's something important to remember about this. The reason cannabis stocks are going nutty is because you've got talk that the House of Representatives is once again going to pass federal legalization for cannabis. This has happened at least 3 times before. Quite frankly, now they're just going for number 4, and it's really just a PR move generally for the Democrats in the House of Representatives to say, "Hey, look, we're getting things done." Of course, this is all going to become subject to the Senate actually deciding to get anything done, and then Republicans and people like Joe Manchin coming on board with it. And quite frankly, right now, it is unlikely that anything is going to actually happen. But that doesn't mean that the cannabis stocks aren't still moving based on this hype. Anyway, and so there's an expectation that next week these cannabis or this House bill will get passed, or either passed or voted on at some point next week. After it does, I think a lot of the hype and euphoria around the cannabis stocks will kind of go away, because we'll sort of look at it as like, all right, it passed, now what? Oh, Senate. And we've seen this whole pattern happen before. And so the way to usually play this, no guarantees obviously, but oftentimes the way to play it is you kind of want to ride these things until the day before or the day of voting in the House, and then you kind of forget about it, and you take some tendies, hopefully you get out of there, and you don't really actually expect it to do anything for the cannabis industry, which is kind of frustrating, because really the cannabis industry deserves this regulation to just finally get passed, if actually like literally have a federal legalization, rather than just like the feels like a maybe cannabis legalization. But in terms of a trader, you just have to look at it and go, who cares? So the ones that are moving a lot, sort of ones to keep an eye on, obviously Sundial. Sundial frequently moves to about $1. And so the buck level is one, at least that folks have regularly eyed at the beginning of last year. We've crossed the $1 many times. 92.86 is another level that I've had here. And of course, right now we're trading somewhere around, where are we trading right now? 74.60. There we go. So we'll take a peek at this. Obviously, straight up here in the last few days on this speculation rumor, I would expect this to have very much of a momentum up and a momentum down kind of pattern. So do keep that in mind. Very, very typical. Also, Cleverleaf Holdings is another one. Now, Clever momentumed all the way up to, I believe $18 at one point, which is quite wild that it did. Yeah, look at that, 1946. It had some strong support sitting right around the 858 level. But, I mean, look at this. You bounce, attempt at a bounce over here, and then it just collapsed. I mean, it's basically, as the retail movement just fell apart in Q4 2021. I mean, this went under $1. It went down to 90 cents. Now it's sitting at 158. And one of the things that's so attractive about these penny stocks is, first of all, small purchases can move them heavily, but folks feel like, hey, I can get a lot of shares. Hey, if this goes to $10, that's a quick, 6x or whatever. I don't know that these actually will. One of the other things to keep in mind, or other things to keep in mind, is that AMC GME had a nice little retail movement and momentum movement here for about 3 or 4 days, and then it just shut down. Like it just relaxed. The last 2 or 3 days have been a little rough for AMC GME. Mostly yesterday, and towards the end of the day before as well, we really saw them kind of get shaved down. And now it's almost like that attention that would ordinarily go into AMC and GME has kind of shifted over to the cannabis stocks. Anyway, I do, of course, want to mention that today is March 25th, which does mean the coupon code for the programs on Building Your Wealth does expire tonight. So take a look at that before the price goes up later today, this evening, as when that'll happen. And let's see. Let's take a brief look over here at Kramer, and then I'll get the 10-2 up as well, and we'll take a look here. I believe it's down at 19 again. Fell a little bit again. Let's listen in over here.
A lot of companies that wanted to build pipelines for natural gas, including Alpine High natural gas, that take that gas to where you could make it into LNG, are all gun shy because the president people are so bad about exactly what he's selling over there.
Yeah. Nat gas, by the way, best week since February. Actually, best week since January, highest since February. But things that we don't normally see this time of year is what we call the shoulder period.
Yes, and that's what's interesting is that the way you would get that natural gas over there is now. You would, when we don't need it,
Right.
you would send it there because we're running full tilt. And we can.
I'm going to pull off their talk here on natural gas. But one thing to note is Bank of America has a bull and bear indicator. And only about 8 buy signals, contrarian buy signals, have occurred since 2013. A contrarian buy signal is basically where their rating gets so low that markets are clearly so bearish, so extremely bearish, that they actually say, hey, make the contrarian move and don't sell it, buy. And they've just made another one of those alerts. And when they do that, historically at least, indices tend to move up by a factor of about, or an amount of about 8% over the next 12 weeks thereafter. So about 3 weeks thereafter. And we just had one. So that was pretty cool. So cool to see that. Obviously, a lot of retail movement right now in cannabis. It's driving these. And in terms of the yield curve, let's grab the 10-2 and the 5-year break even as we do. So 10-2 today. Let's grab this here. $21 puts on Neo gonna print? Yeah, I'll talk to you about that in just a second here. Okay, so the 10-2, oh yeah, down at 18.9 right now. So one of the things to keep in mind when you have options is that oftentimes you're going to get a volatility crush right after earnings. So even though you have puts, if you don't close these options fast enough, that 7% downside here in the stock could actually just get evaporated via volatility crush pretty soon after market opens. So, and then of course you need a buyer on the other side of the trade as well when you want to get rid of that contract, which is entirely possible, but that you'll have somebody there that you can take then attendees off of. So, but yeah, generally I don't love hodling options. You know, if you make an option trade, it lasts a few days. If it works out great, starts going in the other direction, cut. Especially on like the YOLO ones. I mean, you could diamond hand them and just pray, but generally the value of these contracts goes down substantially. So keep that in mind. But yeah, unfortunately, Neo, let me see what the expected move was. I believe the expected move was 10%. So that means the option market was pricing in even more than it actually ended up moving. It's a bummer that they missed on their guide. Initially, the market was not that disappointed, it seemed like. I don't know if people just weren't trading or what it was, but initially the stock was like flat and after hours, and it was down a couple percent. The fact that it's down now a total of just over 7% is wild to me. It's unfortunate, but all right. So let's take a look at it actually. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, we had Neo up. So here's Neo. This is on the day chart, and then of course the minute chart. I've seen a little bit of pain up here. Okay, what'll be also quite interesting is just seeing how our indices perform today. Obviously, we're kind of keeping an eye on this 50% level. Remember when we finished off yesterday, we did that market close stream. I talked about how we really only needed about 0.5% of a movement to get back to get to 50% on the Fibonacci, right? What's wild is look at this in the pre-market. We literally bounced perfectly off of this 50% line 3 times. Well, 2 perfects and then a third near perfect. Take a look at this. If I zoom in over here, look at these bounces right here. Bounce, bounce, near bounce. Perfectly off of that 50%. And so now you're getting a little bit of a drawdown here as well. Let's see how the SPY is behaving around its 50% line. See, SPY didn't care as much. SPY was coasting on the 50% line, all of aftermarket. Pre-market, it just shot right through it. Really good. So it'll be an interesting open to see how these indices behave as well. Another thing that we have, obviously, is, I think, well, let me see here. I'm going to look at the calendar. I think today we get our consumer sentiment as well. which is a big deal because then we're going to see inflation expectations. And if those expectations skyrocket, then Powell's not going to be too happy. Yeah, they come out at 7 a.m. So that's going to be a big moment there. Want to keep an eye on that. And the money, Tesla leaps. I don't love. Oh, Payne, you had the Neo puts. What's up, man? I don't love the like super in the monies. Yeah, I suppose it's a nice way that you can get maybe like 30% leverage without having margin. So like, would I rather have in the money options or margin? Well, absolutely, I'd rather have in the money options than margin. Taking margin calls, right? So it's not a terrible idea, especially if you go deep down. If you go into like the $600 range or whatever, you pay $400 or whatever. I mean, it's basically what the shares are trading for, right? When you add those two together, the strike plus the premium you're paying. But you're able to take more control, and you might make about 30% more money per dollar invested. But that goes in both directions because you get a leveraged impact there on even in the money calls. Certainly nowhere near that kind of excitement that you might see on like a 1 or 2 week call option. And you see these things fluctuate 30% in a day in either direction. It's insane. Sometimes they're fun to play with. They're really fun to play with when they, the stuff moves in your favor. When it doesn't, it's like, oh, what? That went fast. That's why I always like keeping that sort of speculation down to a very, very, very minimum. Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Yeah. So 7 o'clock for those consumer expectations. That'll be a big one. In terms of the suits today, let's see what they're saying, as well as taking a peek at bonds and oil. Back to about that 2.4 level on the 10-year. Watch that 10-year. It is, in my opinion, and I've said this a lot, it's heading to 3%. It's going to be a little ouchy for the real estate market, but it's possible that we could sit trading sideways on the 10-year for the next month, possibly because of the market basically just, all right, this is where we're pricing right now until we see what the Fed does in May. You might get some temporary fear as well right before May. Let's take a look at oil. Okay, Brent down. So I wish I had the cojones to have shorted USO when it crossed my 61.8 line over here, which I could have done in the last couple days, but I didn't. I told myself I was going to wait until it got to the 78.6 line, which it just did not retrace to that level. You could see that right here. So I was watching it come. And I'm like, just a little more, just one more day of a run here, and we'll be at that 78.6, and then I'm shorting. Well, I missed it. And then now we're sort of trending down. That's okay, though. So I do highly expect the commodities to come down. I'd probably rather honestly be short than have puts on some of them, though. Mostly because you don't have to worry about so much about that vol crush. Yeah. All right. So what else? Oh my gosh. NVIDIA killed it yesterday. What, 9-10%, something to that effect. And that particular one, NVIDIA here, not a surprise to see it give back maybe 1/3% today. I mean, big deal. Thoughts on, Marquita? Yeah. I know it's a stock that's sold off a lot. It's in that fintech space. I don't believe they're profitable yet. They wow, gosh, it's been straight down, huh? Look at that, from $32 to $8.24. It's priced a little bit more now, priced at $11. I remember a lot of people talking about this one when it was at like 18, 19, $20. And just a lot of these finance companies have gotten wrecked. One of the issues with new financing is, unless you're just handing out debt to people like a firm, I think it's really difficult to get clients today, because of the type of market that we're in. Just that, like, anybody who is ever going to open an account, I feel like has mostly done so. And, the leftover people, I don't know. But that doesn't make MQ a bad stock. It's just and it'll recover well with some of the others. But I do want to see. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get some of the numbers on it. Oh yeah, a lot of momentum showing up on MQ as well. Okay, yeah, so not profitable for 22. Gross margin at about 43% on about 708 mil, going to 940 next year, maybe 1100 thereafter. So that'd be about 1.5, 1.1 bill, then 1.5, then 2.4. I mean, it's got some great growth. What's one of the things that I love is that the projections are for this thing to be growing 30 to 35%. But no profitability expected, at least until about 2026, and then still in sort of that pennies range. Another thing to keep in mind. All right. Let's take a look at some of the price action here on the minute charts on some of the cannabis stocks. Just going, no tell here. Mullen is be careful if you're in Mullen. We saw this get rejected at the 23.6. It's been sideways ever since, and it's very, very likely that this volume is going to continue to crash. And as soon as the volume crashes, the price is going to come down. Now, it may. I can't guarantee what's going to happen. It's just one that I always suggest. Hey, when the momentum goes, it doesn't matter if you're up or you're down. Look at it and go, all right, time to take some tendies or take a little loss, but it's better than holding on to sort of the front of the Titanic. It's like, even the diamond handers end up in the water. All right, let's go see what some of the suits are saying this morning. The good old suits. We got the chef costume. I should say costume. Chef outfit on today, because we've got that expiring coupon code link down below. That does expire today for those programs on building your wealth, and that coupon code is Kev's Kitchen. All right. Yeah, at some point plan to do something fun. Maybe we'll do our tattooed chef review as Kev's Kitchen. That'd be fun. Yeah, I'm the untattooed chef. 3 Yeah, no, not. It's a very quiet morning in terms of what the suits are up to. So we'll have about 10 more minutes till the market opens up. Let's listen to what Jimmy here's got to say.
And parking ticket speed, whatever you want to call it, I felt it had no teeth whatsoever. Nor do I care that much about the Apple, about the Epic lawsuit, which I think was on very thin ice against Apple. What I do care about is that Apple is talking about something I begged them to do.
Hardware.
A subscription. Now, every time I speak with Tim Cook, who's the CEO.
I don't get it. I still don't understand how that's different from the iPhone upgrade program. They're talking about doing the hardware subscription for a new phone every year. How's that different from the iPhone upgrade program that they already had? Yeah, so unfortunately, the member chat on these live streams is totally different. This you have to press the little join button on YouTube. It all goes directly through YouTube. I've been trying to get them to let me link to let course members be members here, but they're just two totally different things. So you have to hit the join button. If you don't see it, you have to do it on a computer, no iPad or iPhone, and then you can hit the join button on YouTube. But yeah, it is a different thing here. But welcome aboard. Thanks for doing a triple bundle. I'm confident you'll love the content. So, okay, let's listen in here for a moment. See what else we got.
And I would like if they offered me something that included Apple Plus and this and that and backup and everything. And if I act now, it's certainly not the way Apple does it, but also the credit card, I would do it. And I think tens of millions of people do it. They got to be a little more creative and realize that the bundle is a little difficult. Let's get.
Yeah, still talking about Apple here. Jake's asking, isn't the iPhone upgrade program only with Verizon? No, it's I've AT&T and I've done the iPhone upgrade program as well. So it also doesn't have to be done with the carriers. The carriers do have their own versions of it. but you can do it. Oh, froze again. There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. You could do it really with any kind of carrier through Apple directly. Ready for the reversal, says Fox. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And I don't know that we'll really see a big heavy downside. I think we've got a good floor under us for the existing fear that we have. I don't know even about cannabis legislation in 2023. I think that's quite optimistic because I think we're going to have a gridlocked Congress this fall more than we've ever had before. Well, I guess I should say in January, but the election is not even this fall. We'll campaign this fall. The election will be in November. And then Q1 of 2023, you'll have a new Congress. And it'll be it'll probably honestly be Republican controlled. And if it is, I really doubt they're going to let anything get done. Thoughts on SoFi short? I mean, I wouldn't short SoFi in this market. It's already had its beating, but I'm less inclined to be wanting to go long on some of these financial firms for the same reasons I talked about MQ earlier. So maybe scroll back to some of those. By the way, BTC at 44.8, nice little rally there. And what was really interesting was it was led by Cardano. Cardano led the rally. And now Cardano's kind of chillaxed a little bit. And you've got Ethereum and BTC catching up a bit. Trade the rumor of positivity in the legislation. Nothing actually needs to be done. There you go. And nothing will get done. Greetings from Romania. What's up? When you do the iPhone trade-in, does that technically count as a sale? Probably. Yeah. Sell it at the right time after such a rally. I agree with you. Yeah, get in, get out on cannabis. I just, be careful, as with all the momentum, and set yourself some limits. Really like those trailing limits. Okay, so pretty quiet. That's why when there's less news, CNBC goes on commercial more. QQQ barely green right now. I mean, you got fully rejected off of that 50% retracement on QQQ and barely green right now on the NASDAQ. So we'll see what happens here. Are you able to chime in on Clever's earnings report yesterday? Despite how slow the Fed moves, it seems like we're well positioned to grow internationally. Yeah, I mean, you would expect Clever to grow well internationally because they're internationally based, but South American cannabis, in the tropics where it's much easier to grow cannabis than, let's say, up north in Canada. But anyway, did not look at their earnings, but I imagine they're very bullish on future legalization. You have to be, because that's your selling pitch to people investing in cannabis stocks, is that one day it'll be legal. Yeah, I don't know anything about Indo. I really don't. I'm sorry spending $10 here, but I mean, it just from the graph alone, it looks like a penny stock that got momentum, like people do fundamental analysis on this stuff and it doesn't even make sense. Like you can't, because it's just pure momentum. I mean, for something to go from $2 to $4 to $86 is ridiculous. It shows you it's a small cap, massive momentum play. And if you went in under the vision that this is a diamond hand or kind of stock that you just got to hold forever and you'll get rich on it, I don't know. I don't believe so. I mean, just solely by looking at what's happened here on the price action, this is just a classic kind of retail FOMO buy. Doesn't mean you can't make money. You can make a lot of money on these things. It's kind of wild. Okay, 3 minutes to go. and then we'll get the open here. Also, still short Zim right now. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. We go to, where's our May low? Did this also hit a low on May? It kind of did. Yeah, here it did. Okay, because that's where I'm going to retrace to. We're going to grab the peak here, and let's get the May. It does actually look like the July one is roughly in line with it. So we'll grab that. Yeah, that's good. These two are in line. So how much can you really retrace down here? Well, you're at 61.8. Probably would close my short somewhere around 23 to 38 over here. It's probably where I'd close my short on this one. So we'll see how that goes, obviously, as USO also trends to the negative. Where do you do the course member live streams? Yeah, well, check it out on, or you can watch lecture 1.0, and it gives you a complete guide in terms of how to watch the live streams and everything. So check out lecture 1.0. If you have any issues, just shoot an email to kevin@meetkevin.com. We'll get you taken care of. FOMO about to kick in for BTC. Hey, maybe. You never know. It's crypto is absolutely not immune to momentum. I mean, if anything, it could be the definition of momentum very frequently, especially the alts, which of course you got to be very careful with because liquidity in the future for resales oftentimes. Oof. Yeah, everything's dropping a little bit here before the open. See, the QQQ just actually went slightly negative from positive. Let's see, Neo here. Yeah, Neo 7% down. FOMO about to kick in for Podstar. Yeah, you're right. All right, we got a minute here. Let's listen to what Jimmy has to say about Tesla.
Poll today, he's got a poll.
He did ask whether or not Twitter practices free speech.
Yeah, I didn't know. I've been mulling that over all morning.
Well, and then he followed it by saying, vote carefully because the results of the poll could be consequential, for whatever that means.
Anything he does is consequential. I mean, the fact is he may be the most important industrialist in the world right now. And the auto companies, I deal with all the auto companies, and secretly they're all very jealous.
Talking about Elon here. I like this line. Crypto started the meme movement. You know, that might be more true than you think.
Delivery data in not too long from now, and we'll see what that means
right
for the
now,
year.
Mercedes-Benz has teamed up with NVIDIA. So don't give up on Germans if you're like worried about Benz, because NVIDIA, Jensen Huang and Jaguar too. Jensen Huang's going to make them competitive.
There's the opening bell and the CNBC real-time exchange of the big board Quantary Systems, celebrating its recent listing at the Nasdaq. AN2 Therapeutics, a clinical stage biopharma company developing treatments for infectious diseases.
Wow.
We haven't talked much Boeing yet. A bunch of different news points. The FAA administrator on Squawk talking about unruly passengers, the China Eastern crash, the MAX 10, which may not get cleared this year.
But I don't know about that. Obviously, the black box. I mean,
let's take a look and see how the open's behaving here. So we got Neo is stuck here, 6.6. Remember, folks, I like closing options. If you're going to close options in the morning, right at open. I know you could miss whatever price action happens here, but that vol crush can happen within the first 10 min. Usually, sometimes it could take about 10 min. Actually getting a little bit of red here on the cannabis as well. So I'm going to keep an eye on this to see what kind of, if this is just like morning profit taking. Very, very common to see institutions or certain sellers see, oh, wow, thanks. Retail bid it up overnight. And then, you get the sell-off in the morning here. Cooking those haters. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We're cooking the haters. We're frying them. That's what we're doing. All the haters get fried. You know, I never like going after anyone. But, hey, you go after the chef, you get cooked. Anyway. So yeah, a little bit of that down momentum here on cannabis. Well, let's keep an eye on this. Oh, look at Joby. You know, this was another one that actually started trending a little bit. There was some more retail attention on Joby and even Archer yesterday. So it's always funny to kind of see where momentum likes to go. Hold on, let me see if I get Archer Aviation. There it is. Yeah, see, Archer's had a nice little trend up, but it's not performing the same this morning. Getting that little move to the downside here. Look at DD though. DD getting hit hard, 8.55. The Chinese stocks getting hit. Neo down, falling more right now. Almost actually now 8% down. Alibaba's getting hit about 3.6% to the downside. Roblox a little bit. AMC a little bit more. It's one of the things too about the momentum movement is the darn momentum movements last very, very short periods of time. They come back. Like I entirely believe that AMC, GME, and such they'll come back, but the amount of days we get in a row of green before we hit red has really, really shortened on momentum. Seen a lot of that. So Tesla's actually slightly red right now by about 1/3%. You've got NASDAQ can't quite figure out which direction to go. Joby's the one that's taken the momentum this morning. It's actually seems like it's almost taking it away from Sundial and Cleverleaf. So, when we're talking about getting, the stocks going so high, really what's going to be going high is Joby Aviation. Yeah. Good. A little bit of a recovery here on Adobe after that 10% drop on the earnings disaster. Amazon up about 0.5%. Nikola about 0.8. Here's your Nvidia at about 0.4. And Cardano at about 113. All right. Let me see. Take a quick look of let's see what Kramer's got to say on the open here, and then I'll also take a peek here on the suit side.
You want it to taste good, unless it's like Alka-Seltzer or something.
Buffering and Alka-Seltzer.
Well, I'm trying to bring it
what
back.
Is this 1978?
Pop, fizz. I don't want Tilray's drink. All right, Cannabis. They can make all they want. They can put beer. They can put it in beer. By the way, you can't even figure out what proof it is. I mean, like honestly, I was like, what proof is that? I was talking to one of the guys.
The 10-year Treasury just jumped to a new high, 2.41%. Yikes! It's a 2-year high. I mean, we're back to 18, 19 levels. We're getting there. Ay. How much of this rally do you think is contributed to by people receiving tax refunds? Could be, especially the smaller momentum rallies. Like the cannabis rallies, abso-freaking-lutely. More broadly, I don't know. I mean, I think we've priced in a lot of pain. I think the market is right to say, hey, maybe we don't need to keep pricing in pain here. Joby now trading with Sundial for that top spot here on the chart. Let's take a look at Honest for a moment. Yesterday in the closing stream, we talked about Honest. We talked about how this growth company is now not a growth company anymore, and that its growth is actually going to fall 15% in Q1, and that its margins really fail to do anything over the last couple of years. This is a perfect example, though, of if Clorox fails, you fail. Yeah, because so many fewer people are buying the hand sanitizer, the cleaning products, and that sets up high, harsh comps for you. And then as reality sets in, these comps end up getting whacked. It's unfortunate. LAC, that's the Lithium Americas, right? Yeah, Lithium Americas. Let's see what you got over here. Lithium Americas, nice moves over here. You know what else is also nice is MP Materials. Love their CEO, by the way. MP Materials. Look at this, folks. $56. It's crazy. Oh, is Neo dumping more pain? Let's see. Even more? Yeah, actually got a little bit more. Look at that. Yeah, just don't get that vol crush. Comes in about 15 minutes after. Wow, I can't believe Honest is now down 28%. DD down about 10. Oh, yeah. The small caps have really been getting hit hard. There's MQ, Nano Dimension, Etsy. Zim. The smaller companies are the ones getting hit. But I think right now you've got a little bit of everything getting hit. Tesla, mostly flat. Yeah. All right, let's listen to Jim here for a moment. We'll look at the suits again.
NFL to promote Paramount Plus is working. Peacock, I don't have the numbers.
BTC rising, by the way.
Football still brings them in, and I think basketball. March Madness brings them in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a world where ad inventory is needed, March Madness is a relief.
It's exciting.
Yeah. And Al Michaels and Joe Buck can tell you the seller's market in football right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to tell you, I've never seen so many people talk about football during the off season.
Mm-hmm.
I think live sports is so bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, looking at a coin market cap here, I wanted to point out that Solana just made it from 90 and the mid 80s back to over 100. Cardano sitting at 113. Back over $1. So you've had some serious pain over the last few months, but it looks like you're starting to get a little bit of that upside again, as the market is trying to appreciate that fear has really been priced in, unless you're honest, like the company Honest, because this one's just collapsing here. Maybe it's worth getting into Honest as a short-term play because it went down hard. I mean, sometimes, this makes sense. You get a little bit of a bounce up. But I'll tell you, I expected that on Robinhood like every single time, and I never got it. It was really terrible. It's like, oh, it'll bounce. It'll bounce. Terrible. That one just did not care about anything. There you go. 30% profit on Neo. That's awesome. Yes. Big fan. Dogami released on a couple of exchanges. We're kind of excited to see how that one develops. It was just a couple days ago, too. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday. Anyway. Yeah, otherwise, it's kind of pretty consistent right now. Consistent market. Yeah, well, consistently flat and boring. Hood never bounced. It's terrible. Yeah, QQQ now down about 0.25%. So we might walk into a little bit of red today in the market. It's entirely possible. I still think it's too early to really hedge at 50% on the QQQ, but there are going to be a lot of people who do. Although, put call volume, the ratios are really in suggesting that institutional investors are not hedging as much as they had been during a little bit more of a, how do I want to finish saying that? I have no idea. Never mind. But anyway, yeah, totally lost my train of thought. Oh well, got distracted. Who can I blame? There, you, Frontier Lithium. No, it's all good. So, yeah, I'll take a look at that. Okay, now Tesla down about 2/3 of 1%. Affirm, Matterport, some of the smalls dropping a little bit. And it looks like the bigger safety plays, Goog, Apple, kind of trying to hang out in the middle here. Yeah, 3% on Apple. Goog, 2.8. That's slightly green. Okay. 2.8K. We'll buy Honest for 420, not a penny more, just for the memes. Yeah, anything under $5 is technically a penny stock. Ooh, buy the dip on the Russian exchange. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about we have it in here. There's a lot of talk about people wanting to dump money into Russia as a way of speculating that it'll double quickly. Just be careful. I thought I had a better ticker in here. Yeah, I'll have to find that ticker and get back to you. Wrong about eVTOL. They're up and running across the globe. Maybe. I believe their prototypes are up and running. There's no FDA clearance yet for these things. Not in America, at least. Maybe in China or certain areas. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Speaking of seeing what happens, in about 18 minutes, we will have the consumer sentiment report. I do have to go, though. So when it comes out, might post a video on it later. I don't know, but we'll see. And there are going to be big implications in it for what the Federal Reserve says. So we'll see. Remember that those programs on building your wealth have a coupon code expiring today. You get a lifetime access to all the knowledge and the course member live streams. Today's course member live stream is probably going to be a little bit delayed, but that's all right. We will have a course member live stream today. And stay tuned for an alert for that. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you soon.